on Nova Legends podcast, I have West Potomac coach David Houston, whose Wolverines just won the regional title, Occoquan regional title over Hayfield, and they have a date tomorrow night at home in front of the crazy Wolverine crowd against Oscar Smith. Coach, congratulations. Nice to see you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thanks for having me on. It's always an honor to be on with you.
Oh, of course. Well, you were very happy after the win the other night, and the crowd was happy too. Where did that come from? It had been many years for West Potomac. I don't know. Has it been many years? Is it sweeter because it's a rivalry game? Hayfield, it's a rivalry. What made that game so meaningful to you?
A lot. It has been many years. The last time that the West Potomacs won was 1998. So it had been many years. I took over in 2004, 2005 season, and they had not made it to the regional tournament since that last time they had made it. So it had been several years of before winning, had been really a part of the culture. And then, once I got here, it took 4 years to get us to the district championship game, and then 6 years to get us, to the first district championship. So from then it was just a grind, and we were in a really, really tough conference and a really tough region. And so, in year 20, I think with my father, and my staff, as for every second of that 20 years, Tyrone Struther, who is one of my coaches on the staff, for every one of those 20 years, one of my assistant coaches, Derek Baker, was my first point guard who got my first win with me as a player, and he's on the staff with us. And then I have an assistant coach who graduated in 2019. He was first team all-region player. So I think the combination of that is like a family atmosphere. We really wanted it. The kids really played well. So I think all of that just probably spilled out in everybody.
Yeah. Well, it was a great environment. I'm so glad we're back at Robinson, more of a tournament atmosphere. Is there a negative lesson in that you won 2 district titles in a row? This year you didn't win the districts, you lost in the semifinals, and here you are going to the state tournament. Is that a negative lesson about winning districts, and that maybe at some point you can peak too early, even though that's not that early? Is it the lesson? It's got nothing to do with the region, or what is that? Is there any lesson out of not winning districts and this time winning regional?
No chance. You want to win it all. I mean, there's no question. You want to win every single one of them. I think for us, there wasn't a lesson. It was we made some mistakes in the game against Fairfax that we actually still could have won the game against them in the semifinals. There's no guarantee about the finals, but so we made a few corrections and changed some things. But I mean, Hayfield won the district last year, then won the region, then won it. So I think it's not too much to put anything into it. Last time we went to states, we won the district also. So no, I don't think it was too much put into it. I mean, we didn't play our best game at the time. Fairfax played very well throughout the entire district tournament, all the way through regionals. And it wasn't an easy win.
Yeah. Going into the season, what were your realistic expectations of the team? Did you think this is a team that's going to get you to state? Obviously, you knew you had not just a great varsity team, but you had a great program. Did you think going into this year, this is the year you're going to state?
Yeah, we did. We scheduled for that. So we scheduled to have Tuscarora on the schedule. We put Forest Park on the schedule. We went down to the holiday tournament. We knew we were going to play in with Albemarle or Western Albemarle or, one of them. And we actually had to play we played Albemarle. We played Western Branch. We got into the Virginia Preps Classic to play Kings Fork, for the purpose of, we thought that we knew our league was really good. So we certainly knew that the competition in our conference was good enough to prepare us. But if we could go outside of the county, go outside, to the top teams in either the 5A, or the 4A or the 6A, and be able to beat them and even just compete with them. Yeah. So we thought we did. We knew we had some guys coming back that were pretty good. We thought our kids that were with us last year or weren't with us last year that would be joining us this year would, be able to fill in some spots. So no, it's not a terrible shock to our program.
Well, Coach, arguably the Patriot was the toughest conference in Virginia this year. I believe you finished 3rd or 4th.
Second.
Oh, you're second. So you did finish second. Do you think all top 4 or 5 teams, all those would have been worthy to join you guys going to state? I mean, could it just as easily with you going? Obviously Hayfield beat Woodson soundly, but the teams like Fairfax, Mentioned what's in Alexandria City. Who am I losing here?
South County.
Uh, South County, certainly. Are all those teams, would they be worthy state quarter participants as well?
I certainly believe so. I mean, 3 of the 4 of us were in the regional finals from the Patriots. So, I certainly believe that our league is really good. It could win. I mean, we beat Fairfax pretty soundly 2 games early in the regular season. And then we, had 2 ridiculous dogfights in the district and the regional tournament. So, yeah. And I think, Alexandria City, if they don't, lose a player, they could still be playing. You never know. So I think that certainly all of us, and that's why our league is so good, because we beat up on each other kind of, but we just, iron sharpens iron. We just kind of prepare ourselves and each other for, outside of the league as well.
Do you think it's good? Your record is 21-7. You've been in a lot of dogfights this year, not only on your trips out of town, but also just in the district because it's tough. Do you think a record like that is better preparation for the close games that you typically have to win in the postseason? The fact that it wasn't easy. I've talked, like, for example, Meridian, Coach Smith. They've won almost every game by 20 points. They
Right.
did lose the regional final. Do you think it's better to be in so many dogfights like you guys have been?
I do. I mean, I don't know what it's like to win every game by 20, but I would assume, at some point you'd like to have somewhere close. But I think we came back from our holiday tournament. The last game against Western Branch with a double overtime game, and then the very next game, which is like this January 3rd or something like that, we had a 4 overtime game with Woodson. So there's no question that going through those type of games and quarter times and possessions, that makes it, each possession is so important and vital. That prepares you, big time for the postseason. We know that, and hopefully it's going to really prepare us for the state tournament where you don't get a lot of possessions. So when you do, you need to really take advantage of make the best of it.
Yeah. Coach Poindexter today said that your team is built for the postseason. Why do you think he said that?
um, I mean, it's hard to say how outside people look at us and see us, but I think I was a fan of the Pacers growing up. I'm a Reggie Miller fan, so I certainly love those Pacers Knicks battles down there, and then eventually those Knicks Heat games. So that style of basketball, a lot of physicality near the rim. Using your size and strength late in the season. See who's still war of attrition, still who's hanging out. I mean, that's something that we've always wanted to do, and I think in situations where you can't rely on the 3-point shot to guarantee to go in the playoffs, you need to have a plan B. And for us, that's kind of more of our plan A. So I guess it probably looks a little more physical game. And I guess if that's what it looks like to translate to the playoffs, and that's probably why he said it.
Yeah. Let's talk about your team. You got 2, I believe, sophomores that are very, very talented and effective. Christian Morrison is your sophomore point guard, and Justin Edwards, who's a 4, I believe, who's very difficult to stop on the boards, relentless on the boards, can finish inside really well. Tell us about those 2, and also your team. I know you got some great guys off the bench that can shoot outside. Tell us about your team and your style of play.
Yeah, my backcourt. I mean, Chris, started for us last year and was as a freshman, and he went from his assist turnover ratio, completely flipped a 180 from last year to this year. He's just been so instrumental into getting us in what we do. Even in games, he didn't score a lot of points. I mean, he's getting a lot of assists. He's just really strong on the defensive end as well. So he's, he leads us in that way. And then of course he can score. He shoots a really high percentage from the 3-point range. Over 40% for the season, which, for a sophomore point guard, it's just really, really tough. My backcourt, a guy with him, I do have a shooter, John Colligan, who's a baseball commit, who has just, really done amazing this season as a shooting guard. And then BJ and Nkrumah, I think he's really the glue to us a lot. He's a 4-year varsity starter for me, or varsity player for me. Started last year with Chris in the backcourt. And, the 3 of them as a guard trio have been, really, really strong. Justin Edwards, as you said, I mean, he had 29 and 12 against Hayfield the other night. He seems all region worthy. He's, as as a sophomore. He had 25 against Edison on the road, and I think 7 rebounds in that game. You called him a forward. I'm not sure. I think he's just a player who's like 6'4", and then we enter him into spots, and he plays in the post, but he brings it up. He guards the point guards. He's really, really good. We round out with Ethan Green on my big, and then I come off the bench with a big as well, who had Liam Kelch had 12 and 12 against Hayfield the other night as well. So yeah, I like that group, as well as Michael Forey. He's been big for us. He was a starter early, and Dominic Sanchez, who's our football quarterback. We've been playing eight guys, and really we got a chance to play 10. Really 10 guys all season. Mason Hopper came off the bench, made huge plays, and against Hayfield hit a 3 that really put that game a little bit out of reach. And Zach Fortes, another football player, who's a senior that just comes in and does his job. So those guys really do a great job, have done a great job all year. So far, this playoffs have really done well.
Yeah, you talked a little bit about the Fairfax loss in the semis and districts. So when you're coming into regionals, you had Edison and Fairfax. Edison on the road. Fairfax was at home, I believe, right, Coach?
That was at Robinson.
Oh, that's right, neutral. Awesome. So you had to think, wow, it's not the easiest road to the state tournament.
No, but not sure how many easy roads there are. But I didn't think that was an easy road. But I knew we played really good defense. This is one of my best defensive teams I've had. I said that at the beginning of the year, and I thought we saw that this summer, that we have two-way guys. We have guys that are really solid on offense, and then really, really want to get stops and can get stops. And because we do that in practice so much, I think it really prepares us for the games. But I knew just we could go over to Edison and play tough defense and give ourselves a chance. I thought our size, we have some good size inside, and I thought that it would kind of take over a little bit there. Going against Fairfax was just a challenge. That was our 4th time playing Fairfax. I think in 3 years, me and Coach Barbie have coached against each other 10 times in 3 years. We played 4 times like 2 years ago. So anytime, and he has all seniors. I think it's 7 or 8 seniors that they play, and that's just hard to eliminate. It's hard to do that. So we knew it was going to be a tall task, and of course, it took a tap in, to make that happen. We just had to, and which was kind of the game plan: get it on the rim, and then bat it around, and then see what happens up there. Yeah, we knew that style that we play would travel. We didn't have to make a lot of threes. We didn't have to make a lot of jumpers. If we played tough at the rim, and those two teams, yeah, they made it a battle. But I think it made it more, it made also the Hayfield win. Even just, we're the only team that had to go through the kind of the playing game, that made it all the way through, and came out on top. So we played one extra game, than everybody else in the regional tournament. So I think that made it a little bit more special for the guys as well.
Yeah, and I think with every win you get, you tend to get more people in the crowd to come out. So that's kind of a good thing also. Well, the Hayfield game was a memorable game. You guys played great that day. Hayfield jumped on you early, but you wore them down, and you had a huge rebounding edge over them. What were some of your keys to that victory?
Size matchups. I thought that we could play with some of our big guys and just get it up on the rim. But Hayfield, they're very good at what they do, and they're good at putting ball pressure on. They turned us over, double the amount of times we typically turn it over in a game. We've been at around 8 to 12, somewhere between that 8 to 12 range, and I think we were in the 20s, maybe 21 or so, 22 turnovers in that game. And it was really about a lot of their pressure caused charges and just sped us up a little bit. But we thought, like, once we settled down and got the ball up on the rim and got the ball inside near the basket, and we were able to, helpfully get their guy in some foul trouble, and then just like you said, wear them down. That was kind of the wear down effect.
Yeah, well, you got that win, and you get to avoid a long weekday trip to Virginia Beach, which is fun for the kids. But if you're looking beyond, it can be tough. It can be tough to plan. What do you know about Oscar Smith? Now, I know you mentioned earlier you went down and played Kings Fork, Tidewater basketball. They have a distinct brand of basketball. I did ask Sherman, Coach Sherman, and also Coach Carlos about them. But what's your assessment of Oscar Smith?
Well, they have a history of winning. They certainly know a lot about winning and playing in big games. So, we have a lot. We got some film, which is hard to get. It's hard to get film on them down there, but we got some film on them. They played a few teams that we played. They played Kingsport. So it was really, helpful to see them. I think they played South County earlier this year as well. So I mean, they're very, very athletic. Their guard play is really good. Lefty, they got some young guys just like us who are really some of their main scorers. Some football player type style guys who likely are also football players as well. They put pressure on you. I think the game against Hayfield is a great preparation, I believe, for us to play them. I think similar in some styles with wanting to wear you down and turn you over. So, we'll prepare, in practice today, get ready for, for that. I also think, our league kind of gets us ready for, whatever kind of style we're going to see. So, we're to the point at this point where we can only play the way that we play. I think we've done it well, and I think we're playing well right now.
Yeah, certainly are, Coach. Are you expecting a big crowd tomorrow night?
Yeah, certainly. I thought West Potomac showed up at Robinson the other night. I was really happy and proud of our fans and student section that came out. We have lots of just community people, fans that have been really theirs, my entire time that I've been here. And then, obviously our the parents of our program, people were there. So little camp kids were there. I mean, it was really, really, really good. So having it at home, which I actually didn't realize that we were going to have an opportunity to have a home game until I think later last week. I think it will. Yeah, I think we should have a nice crowd tomorrow.
Yeah, I think the crowd made a difference. Gave you almost a home court atmosphere at a neutral court. Coach, do you have any idea who's in your bracket? And I know I'm not asking you to ask ahead, but do you have any idea who was in your bracket?
Yeah, Patriot and Madison, Patriot Madison on our side. Yeah.
So if that's right, because the Patriot, if you both win, Patriot would come to a neutral court in your region, and if Madison, I guess same for Madison as well. So you would host the next game. Do you have any thoughts on that game, Madison Patriot game?
I mean, on the two of them playing?
Yeah.
I mean, they're playing well right now. It's clear. Yeah, it's clear. I mean, both coaches have their guys, running, playing the way that they like to play. I mean, Patriot had their lineup has, been pretty much the same all year, and they've been playing really strong all year. Madison it's come along. I mean, they've been playing well, but they've come along really well late in the year. I've coached against Madison a number of times. Their style, if you're not prepared for it, it's definitely a challenge in a one-game situation. So it should be interesting. Yeah, it should be interesting.
Yeah, I agree. Well, Coach, look, congratulations. I know it must be an amazing feeling. I never even won a district game. We were out first time I played on districts. So it must be great to actually be going to a state tournament and not having to pay to get in. It's at home, but I think even though you lose a little bit of that atmosphere of a state game, you should have a huge advantage at home in a hostile environment. For Oscar Smith, your crowd is very vocal. So anyway, I just want to wish you best of luck. If you guys hopefully if you guys win and take care of business, we can do this again later on this week.
Hope so. I certainly look forward to seeing you later in the week. Hope we play well. Hope everybody plays well and stays safe throughout the week.
That's right. All right, Coach. Appreciate your time. Good luck in practice tonight. See you soon.
All right. Thanks.
All right, bye-bye. Thanks.